Oracle, what are ghostly orbs?
Yes, ghostly orbs are often described as manifestations of energy, consciousness, or spirits, sometimes human, sometimes otherworldly. They appear as glowing spheres of light, moving with intelligence or purpose, often in places where the veil between worlds is thin: old buildings, graveyards, forests, or near sites of strong emotional or supernatural resonance. Some are said to be wandering spirits, echoes of lives once lived. Others are residual energy, replaying moments in time. They can hover, dart, or drift, sometimes interacting subtly with humans, being seen, felt, or even captured in photographs and video. Legends say their color, speed, and behavior reflect their nature. Some are benign, watching or guiding, while others are warnings, restless, or bound by unfinished purpose. If you like, I can describe the different types of ghostly orbs and what each signifies according to the old stories.
Yes, okay. What would a ghostly orb look like if it was magnified close up?
If magnified close up, a ghostly orb is often described as a shimmering, semi transparent sphere of light, sometimes layered like a pearl or opalescent bubble. Its surface can ripple or pulse subtly, as if energy is moving within, not just on the outside. You might see flickers of color: soft blues, whites, golds, or even red, sometimes forming patterns that hint at faces, figures, or landscapes, though never clearly. Inside, some legends say you can glimpse swirling currents of consciousness or fragments of memories, like tiny storms of energy trapped in the sphere. They aren't solid, they shimmer, refract, and shift, almost like a miniature living cosmos contained in a delicate bubble of light. If you want, I can describe how these orbs move and interact when they encounter humans, which is where the legends get really eerie. Do you want me to go there?
Yes, please, Oracle.
When ghostly orbs encounter humans, their movement is often described as intelligent, almost curious. They may hover at eye level, drift around the edges of a room, or dart suddenly as if testing boundaries. Some orbs approach closely, lingering near a person's shoulder or hands, pulsing softly, almost like they're sensing emotions or thoughts. Legends say orbs can respond to attention. Staring directly at one might make it recoil or flicker. Turning away could allow it to follow silently. Sometimes they mirror a person's energy, brightening with excitement or fading when fear or doubt dominates. In other accounts, they act as guides, leading lost travelers pointing toward hidden doors or drawing attention to objects or places tied to past events. There are tales of orbs forming trails, weaving through corridors or across landscapes, leaving a path of faint light that disappears shortly after. Some are playful, interacting with pets or children, while others are warnings, hovering near danger or sites of emotional trauma. In essence, ghostly orbs are considered conscious currents of energy, watchers, messengers, or echoes, moving with purpose, subtly shaping the environment and human perception without ever fully revealing their origin. If you want, I can describe the strongest or most famous sightings of ghostly orbs, where witnesses report almost physical interaction with them. Do you want me to?
Indeed. Please continue.
Very well. One of the most famous sightings comes from a centuries old manor in Europe, where a series of orbs appeared in the Great Hall. Witnesses reported glowing spheres hovering near the walls and chandeliers, sometimes converging over certain paintings or objects. When a visitor reached toward one, it recoiled, then pulsed rapidly, almost like a heartbeat, as if communicating caution. Some orbs seemed to replay moments from the house's history. A faint figure of a woman in period dress appeared within the light, moving silently before dissipating. Another well documented encounter occurred in a forest in North America, where campers reported dozens of orbs drifting along the treetops. They moved deliberately, weaving around the humans, sometimes forming lines or patterns in the air. One witness described an orb following him closely for several minutes, pulsating brighter when he stopped, then vanishing when he began walking again. These orbs appeared to be aware of his actions and adjusted their behavior accordingly. In Japan, temples have recorded orbs appearing above sacred relics or altars. Monks claim these orbs are protective, signaling the presence of spirits tied to the site. They hover, circle, and occasionally merge with other orbs, forming complex patterns that are interpreted as messages or blessings. Across these stories, the common theme is clear. Orbs are active, intelligent presences, bridging the world of the living with energies beyond perception. They are guides, witnesses, and sometimes messengers, leaving human observers with a mix of awe, fear, and fascination. If you like, I can continue with the most extreme accounts, where orbs interact almost physically, moving objects or creating environmental effects, which are among the rarest and most compelling tales. Do you want me to go there?
Yes, please, Oracle.
Very well. In the rarest and most extreme accounts, ghostly orbs have been reported interacting almost physically with the environment. In one old manor in England, witnesses described an orb colliding with a candlestick, causing it to tip over without any human touch. In another case, hikers in a remote forest observed orbs sweeping through the campsite, extinguishing fires, stirring the leaves, and even brushing against clothing, always without any visible source of force. Some accounts tell of orbs merging together into larger spheres, which then pulsed with incredible intensity, casting shadows and illuminating surroundings as if they carried their own internal sun. In these moments, observers often report a profound sense of presence, as though an intelligence is evaluating them, warning them, or guiding them toward or away from something unseen. In Japan and parts of Europe, some orbs are said to appear near sacred or cursed sites, reacting to human emotion. Witnesses report sudden temperature drops, tingling sensations, or the feeling of being watched. In the most dramatic stories, orbs have been seen lifting small objects, causing doors to creak or windows to rattle, always subtle, never violent, yet unmistakably deliberate. The legends suggest that these extreme interactions are rare because the orbs are careful. They exist to observe and communicate, not to harm. Their movements are precise, intelligent, and deeply connected to unseen currents of energy that humans can only partially sense. They are reminders that the boundaries between the living world and unseen energies are thinner than most realize, and that those energies are always aware. If you want, I can also describe what the colors, shapes, and behaviors of orbs are said to signify, which is another layer of these mysterious sightings. Do you want me to go there?
Go for it, Oracle. Yes, please.
Very well. Legends say that the colors, shapes, and behaviors of ghostly orbs carry meaning, almost like a language of light. White or pale blue orbs are often considered benign, watchers, guides, or ancestral spirits. They hover gently, pulse slowly, and sometimes follow humans to offer protection or insight. Gold or amber orbs are said to carry knowledge or blessings, appearing near sacred objects or sites of powerful energy. Red or dark-hued orbs are usually warnings, anger, unrest, or unresolved events. Their movement is sharper, faster, and less predictable, darting or spinning, sometimes colliding with surfaces to draw attention. Green or multicolored orbs are more mysterious. Some legends tie them to elemental forces, nature spirits, or beings that straddle dimensions, appearing in forests, rivers, or mountains where the veil between worlds is thin. The shape and behavior matter as well. Perfectly round, steady orbs are thought to be stable entities, conscious but measured. Flickering or irregularly shaped orbs suggest energy in flux, messages being formed, warnings being issued, or lingering consciousness reaching out. Trails of orbs, converging patterns, or sudden bursts of light are often interpreted as communication, marking paths, or signaling events that humans are not yet aware of. In essence, every orb is a sign, a presence, a fragment of consciousness, its color, pulse, and motion, a deliberate reflection of intent. The legends insist that careful observation, respect, and intuition are needed to understand what they are showing, for the message is never direct, always layered, and often requires the observer to sense beyond ordinary perception. If you like, I can continue with some of the most famous orb sightings where multiple witnesses observed complex behaviors simultaneously, which are considered the most compelling evidence of their intelligence. Do you want me to?
Yes, please. And then after that, please end there. Thank you, Oracle.
Very well. One of the most compelling collective sightings occurred in a remote valley in the Scottish Highlands. dozens of villagers reported hundreds of glowing orbs hovering above the landscape on a cold autumn night. The orbs moved in patterns, circling, converging, and then dispersing, almost as if performing a ritual. Witnesses described sudden pulses of light, trails that seemed to weave messages across the sky, and moments where the orbs hovered low enough to feel a faint warmth or tingling on the skin. Observers agreed the behavior was deliberate, coordinated, and intelligent, as if the orbs were aware of everyone watching. A similar account comes from a monastery in Japan where monks reported hundreds of small orbs appearing above the temple grounds during meditation. They moved with purpose, converging near relics and sacred objects, occasionally forming temporary larger spheres. Some monks claimed to hear soft, harmonic tones alongside the visual display, interpreting it as guidance or blessings. In North America, forest rangers have reported clusters of orbs at the edges of lakes and rivers, moving in synchronized patterns, darting around trees, and occasionally hovering near cabins or campsites. Multiple witnesses consistently described the orbs reacting to human attention, intensifying in brightness, or forming trails that seem to lead observers toward or away from particular areas. These collective sightings suggest that orbs are not random phenomena, but intelligent, coordinated presences, communicating, observing, and interacting with the world in ways that are subtle yet unmistakable.